right, guys, gather around. So these are the sample boards that you guys are going to be using. This is what we call hardboard. You get them at Home Depot. It's masonite. Basically, it's the same thing that you're walking on our floor. This is a porous substrate, so we did not have to use a bonding primer. I think on these we just used a latex paint. All right, so this has been mixed up. We're gonna do 3 ounces per square foot. For the most part, unless we tell you differently, and we will, because there's a few finishes where we're gonna use more than 3 ounces per square foot. But anytime you're doing 3 ounces per square foot, you do not tape dam your edges. So if you noticed, I'm scraping my edges. And the reason I'm doing that is because of the way we mixed it in the buckets. I know that all of this material is 100% mixed well. Just in case I had some material that was not thoroughly mixed in here, I want to make sure that when I do scrape my bucket, I put it in the middle. I don't go put it over here. Because let's say this wasn't mixed properly and I put it over here, that could be a source of having a sticky spot. Uncured, improperly mixed epoxy will never cure. I very seldom will use a trowel unless I'm doing a really big surface. And then the only reason I do that is because I want to make sure that I get the right amount of that product on the surface. And this is a 1/8 by 1/8 trowel, okay? Square trowel, yeah. What I want you guys to do is get familiar and don't be scared to use this product. Don't worry about making it perfect. I don't want you guys to be scared. So you're just gonna trowel it out. Don't push it over the edge. Okay, go right up to the edge. Try not to push it over. A lot of the videos, especially back in the day, after this point, we would come in with a brush, all right, and we would chop it, all right? That's still 100% acceptable to do that. The reason I don't do that anymore is 1, the cost of the brush. 2, if I chop with a brush, there's a chance that I'll get a bristle. If I use my hand, there is 0 chance I'll get a bristle. So I'm gonna hit it with a torch really quick. And the only reason I do that is because it's a little cooler in here. By heating it up, it makes it more fluid and it's just easier to spread out. Now I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna come in and I'm just going to spread that out. Now when I use my hand, I don't do this. Look at the difference. I don't do that. See how hard I'm pushing and it's moving? I just barely use my hand and I move it over the surface, okay? Once I get all of this laid out, then I'll address my edges and I'll just run my hand down the edge. All right, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna torch the bubbles out. All right, that's it. I don't have to worry about, oh, it's not exactly perfect everywhere. All I want you to do is, first of all, I want you to come in here and I just want you to put did that hurt? Are you okay? Just a little bit, okay, right here. See how little this I did? I want you to practice subtle first, all right? Then I want you to come in and very lightly, I want you to take that, and this is gonna teach you, 1, to learn how to be very soft-handed. All right, use the flat part of your fingers and just lightly touch it, all right? This right here, guys, if you go to Home Depot right now, they actually have a countertop that looks identical to this. Identical to that. Exactly. Did you see how fast that was? How fast I did that? And simplicity wins. People want simplicity. Yes, it's fun to come see all these wow, elaborate things, but when we do home shows and we're doing these wow, elaborate things, the first thing people say is, wow, that is so pretty, but I don't really want that in my kitchen. But what I'm saying is, if you don't take anything else besides the contracts and the prepping, simplicity sells. All right, so now this is pretty. All right, but let's take it to the next level. All right, so let's do this. Now let's get a little bolder, okay? Now let's put a few more. Now when I say a little bolder, I didn't go nuts. All right, again, I'm gonna use my hand. You could use, can you bring me a Bondo spreader, somebody? please? A Bondo spreader? All right, so I'm gonna use my hand. I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna just drag this across. All right, thank you. Let's say I wanna come in and get really crazy. I can come in with the Bondo spreader. I can start chopping this out, make a vein like this. All right, I can take my finger, I can just rub it. Now, let's say I really wanna go crazy and I wanna put a big old vein down the middle, okay? Now, what I want you guys to understand, in nature, you're not gonna see veins do this. Okay, you don't see that in that straight up looks like a little, never mind. So we can actually fix that, okay? All right, but let's take care of this big one, all right? So this big one, we're gonna kind of just very lightly move it. All right, now you can come back. You can even take some maybe white that's left over and you can run that white in here. All right, you can take a stick, you can just run the vein down here like this. All right, there is actually some different kind of slabs, and I really encourage you guys to study your slabs, but there's some veins where you have all kinds of crisscrossing. What you don't want to do is do 45-degree or 90-degree angles. Okay, in nature, you really don't see that hard 90-degree angles. So you want to kind of get a little more, and I did a big no-no, is I did a U-turn. You never want to do that. You want to go off the board, okay? U-turns just aren't natural. Now, another thing that make this all look very, very natural is tilting. Now, what if you're doing a countertop in place? Obviously you can't tilt. But if you're doing a tabletop or you're doing something, a countertop that you're fabricating and you can tilt, I want you to look at what tilting will do. Heat it up a little bit and then tilt. When you go to tilting, it makes that epoxy move and gives it a really organic kind of a look, all right? So don't ever take that for granted, being able to tilt, because it's really a neat way to get your veins to look really cool. You like your piece, you don't have to do this, but the last thing I'd like you to do is get your alcohol, the plain alcohol, and you wanna set the sprayer to where it kind of comes out and drips, okay? Not this. You don't want to squeeze it hard and get a fine mist because you won't get the same look. But I want you to get it to where it's just little drops, come up nice and high, and you're gonna just barely hit it. And that right there is gonna cause some really neat effects. This right here could be a whole kitchen, this right here, and you saw how completely easy it was. All right, yes. Okay, so y'all got epoxy in your cups. Go ahead and start, grab your...
From all of us here at Stone Coat Countertops and RK3 Designs,
you got this!